Welcome back, my name is Aaron. This is Char and Bark Barbecue, and on today's video, I will be making Birria de res Quesatacos.
Lift off and the clock has started.
So the first thing you're going to do to make the Birria de res is to get your meat, and you're going to want to season it because we're actually going to smoke the meat first, and then we will put it in a cast iron Dutch oven, and we'll cook the birria like that with the Consommé. So this here is actually an arm roast. I usually have used a chuck roast in the past, but this was on sale at the grocery store. It's 2 pounds. It's gonna be plenty of meat for me and my wife to eat. So, you really don't need too much meat there. I'll go ahead and get this out and I'll go and start putting the rubs on there. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil on both sides of the arm roast. And this will act as a binder to put our rubs and spices on. So the rub I'm going to use first, going to be the Cattleman's Grill Mexicano. Go ahead and sprinkle some of this on this side. I'm not going to use too much of this. Just want to use a little bit to give it some color. Pat that down. Next I'm going to go ahead and use some salt and pepper, just 1-to-1 mixed ratio. This is going to help us form our bark. All right, that looks good to me. So what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to let this tack up for a little bit, probably about 15-20 minutes or so, and then we'll go ahead and throw it on the Yoder YS640S pellet grill. It's already preheated to 225. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put the arm roast on here. As you can see in this bottom rack here, I have the 5-quart cast iron pot already ready. And the plan with that is place this right over top of it there. If anything drips down, I'll go ahead and stay in there and we can use that later on for our Consommé. So I'm gonna close it up. I'm gonna get it temped with a probe, and we're gonna pull it off at about 165 degrees. The arm roast is done smoking. It hit the 165 degree internal temperature that I was looking for. I have it in this cast iron Dutch oven 5-quart pot here. What I'm gonna do next, I went ahead and already rehydrated 8 hot New Mexico chilies. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this with some of the reserved water that I steamed and steeped them in with some salsa as well. Now I'm going to take a couple of tablespoons of the salsa that I have made already. It's a couple of Roma tomatoes, a couple of tomatillos, cilantro, garlic, onions, jalapenos, and serranos. And put that in there. It's going to give it more of a little bit of a spicier flavor. And then next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some of this residual water from the chilies. Not too much, just a little bit in there. We're going to go ahead and blend this all together in the Ninja blender. Looks good to me. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to pour this on top of that arm roast there that we smoked. So next, I already cut up half an onion and I cut that into thirds. I'm just going to place this around the beef here. Just add a little bit extra flavor. Go ahead and take some of this roasted garlic. This next step is kind of important. You do not want to add too much of the ground cloves. They're very aromatic. So I'm literally just gonna do pretty much a pinch just like that. Next I'm gonna take some of this Mexican oregano. I'm just going to take my spoon here, kind of eyeball it to probably about a tablespoon and a half or so. And then lastly, I'm going to go ahead and take these bay leaves here. I'm going to add probably about 3 or 4 in here. Go ahead and place these bay leaves in here as well. I'm gonna call that good. Next, I went ahead and put 2 cubes of beef bouillon with 4 cups of water. I'm gonna go ahead and just pour this on top here. And why I didn't do more than that is because I'm gonna go ahead and take this residual water from when we roasted those New Mexico chilies. I'm gonna pour it in the pot as well. So this is gonna be pretty much the final product of it before you put it back on the smoker. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the lid and we'll put it back on there. I have the smoker running at 250 degrees right now. So we are back. The consommé is done. I went ahead and took out the fat. I skimmed it from the top to use for the quesatacos, and I already strained out all the extra spices and onions and everything for the consommé. So what I'm going to do now is I've been letting this beef rest for about an hour. I wrapped it in this foil and a towel in a cooler. So we're going to go ahead and pull the beef now. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and pull this beef here. Oh, look at that. You can see that smoke ring from smoking the beef. All right, I'm gonna pull all this apart and then I will next show you how to actually assemble the quesatacos. So the first thing you wanna do, you wanna go ahead and get your pan preheated and make sure it is hot. This is the oil that we skimmed off the top right here. Go ahead and just put a little bit in this pan here. You can tell that the pan is hot just by doing that. So the next step you're going to do, you're going to get your tortilla, you're going to place it in the oil here, and coat it, and then you will throw it in the pan. So what you're going to do first, you're going to let that one side cook just a little bit, and then you'll flip it, and then you'll go ahead and put your beef and your cheese on top. Just flip it by hand. Take your smoked beef, take some cheese. Now this is mozzarella cheese that we shredded up. It's okay if you get some cheese on the skillet itself, it'll just make it nice and crispy. You're looking for the tortilla to start getting crispy on the outside. That way when you flip it over, you don't want it to be super soft. You can kind of see the outside there is getting nice and crispy. Just gonna fold it over. If you want to go ahead and put a little bit more oil down, you can. Just gonna get it nice and crispy. Now you can make multiple at once. I like to do one at a time just to make sure I'm paying attention to one taco. So it is a little tedious, but trust me, the end result is gonna be worth it. This one's looking pretty much done to me. Let it do this thing on this side just for a couple more seconds. Pull this one off, and I'll go ahead and make these other ones, and we will be back once we're all done making these. Okay, so the moment you have been waiting for, the quesatacos are complete. I have some guacamole that we made earlier, some salsa, and the consommé right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just dive in, and we'll see how it tastes. You just wanna dip your taco in your consommé. Oh my goodness. Put a little bit of lime on there. The crunchiness of the queso taco, frying in the pan, that smoked beef. There's a creaminess of the mozzarella cheese. And the consommé is actually pretty spicy. It's pretty good. I am in heaven. That is so delicious. The consommé though, there's something about dipping that taco in the consommé. It just adds a nice little kick of spice. It's so delicious. You've got to try this recipe. That was Birria Quesatacos. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other suggestions, go ahead and comment them down below. Also, do not forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.